Hello, YouTube. This is probably not the best way to make my debut on this profile, showing my face, as I am very sick with the flu, and as you can see, haven't really been taking care of myself. Yay for constant vomiting. Okay, so basically, this whole RedZone thing with Second Life. Now, you can like it, you can love it. There's a lot of different ways to, go about it. You can hate it, despise it. Whatever. You can think it's useless crap. A lot of valid opinions out there, and they all have, their own very real, things that you can go off of, and debate is important in this situation. What is happening is you have people tossing out words that don't need to be tossed out. Now, basically, the way RedZone works, for those of you not familiar, which anybody who's been following this debate, it's obvious that no one is familiar with how it works. First of all, full disclosure, I am a scripter in Second Life. I think a decent one. I wouldn't say I'm, the best out there. People would claim that I am, but I tell them they're full of shit. But basically, what we're seeing is people tossing out words like spyware. Well, the way RedZone works is that, essentially, when you come into a region, it detects that there's a new person. It has you load a media texture on the prim, which points to a website. One of a couple websites, apparently. And then it logs you accessing that website, just as accessing any website on the internet through any means, whether through your viewer or through a regular web browser. Will log your IP address, what browser, or in this case viewer, you're using, and with a little bit of magic in the scripting department, matches that up to which avatar is making the request. So they get your IP, your viewer, and your account name. And then it puts this in a database. And it starts noticing that, hey, this avatar logs in from this IP address. Well, so does this avatar. Well, they are possibly alts. And what this can do, and it is great at stopping this, I've witnessed this firsthand, a lot of people will feel slighted in some way by a sim owner, and really they're just acting like an idiot, and they get banned from the sim, so then they bring in their alt, and cause more trouble. And they get banned. And then they bring in another alt. And then they get banned. And then they bring in another alt. And they get banned. RedZone, you just ban them once, and it goes, oh, hey, this is an alt, we'll go ahead and ban them too. It works beautifully. Now, this is a double-edged sword. Me and my wife, we both connect with the same IP address. If for some reason she was having a bad day and got banned from someplace, I would be banned too. Or vice versa, because I have my bad days. So, you can get caught falsely by this. Or if you're sharing the same hotel, as somebody, and they have like a distributed T1 or something, and everybody has the same IP address, chances are very low. How many people do we know staying in the same hotel are actually going to be on Second Life? Unless it's like a Second Life convention. So, yeah, simple fact is, our hobby is not that popular. It really isn't. We're viewed as freaks by everybody. So back to the spyware thing. Everybody's throwing out, oh, it's spyware, it's illegal, and it's against the terms of service, so that makes it illegal. Well, first of all, terms of service just basically means if you violate the terms of service, you're no longer allowed to use the service. It doesn't make it illegal. They can put anything they want, whether it's legal or not, in their terms of service. And if you violate it, you're just no longer allowed to use Second Life. That's the short and long of it. The terms of service actually says that you may not install anything on another person's computer, which RedZone is not doing. All it's doing is making you load a media texture, and the website's doing all of it. It's storing all this on a server outside of Linden Labs' control. So basically, what's happening is, it doesn't fall under the terms of service. If they were keeping this in Second Life somehow, well, yeah, it would fall under terms of service. But, Terms of service actually specifically states that any information collected by an outside website that you connect to with the viewer is none of their problem. You know the risks when you connect to it. The thing is, with RedZone, you may not know you're connecting to it. The idea is that by having those options turned on, you're implying consent. By turning those options off, well, you're not really able to do a lot of the fun things like listen to music and such. So, again, double-edged sword. But let's look at the whole spyware issue. I'm going to attempt to film my monitor. Turn off that light there. This may or may not work out so well. Spyware, woo, is a type of malware that can be installed on computers and which collects small pieces of information about users without their knowledge. The presence of spyware is typically hidden from the user and can be difficult to detect. Typically, spyware is secretly installed on the user's personal computer. Sometimes, however, spyware such as keyloggers are installed by the owner of a shared corporate or public computer on purpose in order to secretly monitor other users. Now, turn the light back on. So, as you may have noticed there by my horribly over-the-top inflection, installed. That's what makes it spyware. It's installed. This is just website logging. The blogs that people are commenting on about this are doing more to invade your privacy than RedZone is when you post a comment on the blog. It's actually, RedZone, I have access to somebody else's RedZone, 2 of them in fact, and I can't tell you what your IP address is. If I ran a blog, you're damn straight I can tell you what your IP address is. I could use geolocation and track you down to your neighborhood. Hell, depending on what kind of ISP you have and how well they hide that, I could even get a satellite photo of your house. It can be done. From blogs. Can't do that with RedZone. Just isn't there. So, blogs worse than RedZone. If you were really upset about it, you wouldn't be posting on the blogs, because it's worse. So basically, everybody's using the spyware word, because it's charged. It's like, oh my god, spyware is awful. And, the second you say that, it's a loaded word and it gets people afraid. Well, there is a word out there, and I admit, much like trying to fit spyware to RedZone, it doesn't quite fit. But it is close. There is a word for trying to control people with fear. And that word is terrorism. So, who are you going to go with? A bunch of people who are sick of being griefed by people in their little alt armies, or are just trying to protect their investment in Second Life from the things they make? Or are you going to believe a bunch of people who are spouting fear rather than reason as their defense in why this should be removed from Second Life and why the creator should be banned and so on and so forth? Now, if you have a valid reason about why RedZone needs to be gone, love to hear it. Love to hear it. I would love to converse with people who will talk sensibly about this. Personally, I have issues with RedZone. It catches people as alts that aren't alts. It happens. It's the nature of the technology. So there are some false positives. There has to be with such a system, because it's kind of plays a little loose with technical specifications, just because that's the limits of how Second Life works. But I'm running up on 10 minutes here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Essentially, though, anybody who starts tossing out words like spyware, or even me, terrorism, take everything they say with a heaping truckload of salt. Because they either have an agenda, or in my case, are just sick of people doing the same thing. Well, I hope that enlightened a few of you, and I hopefully won't have to make another video while I'm sick, and I'll look a little nicer, and take a weed whacker and all this. Take it easy.